parkway in my automobile, trying to get back to my pappy's corn liquor steal. Soon as I crossed that Buncombe County line, something in the air blew my podcast up high. It was a wisdom from the chicks in the city sticks, and I knew right then it was gonna be my fix. No need for white lightning to get my start. It's hey Lord, have mercy and bless your heart. Lordy, yeah, you know what I mean. It's not strange, take it from me. Lordy, come and listen to see weird mountain gals on the party. Up on Weird Mountain, they've been getting their kicks, jamming on the porch just a hit and mash, stirring up the pot, that's what they do best. They can dish it out till there ain't none left. W-Y-R-D, yeah, you know what I mean. No, it's not strange, you can take it from me. W-Y-R-D, so come and listen to see weird mountain gals on the party. Well, I finally found my pappy's corn liquor steal, filled up the jug and had to hit the trail. Gotta get back to the cottage in the Mashville woods, to the weird mountain gals neighborhood. W-Y-R-D, yeah, you know what I mean. It's not strange, you can take it from me. W-Y-R-D, come and listen and see weird mountain gals on the party. It's them weird mountain gals on the party. It's them weird mountain gals on the party.
Do you consider yourself normal? Then this is not the show for you. Please go somewhere else. This is WYRD. If it's getting weird, it's got to be the Weird Mountain Gals show. You're listening to Byron and Alicia, the Weird Mountain Gals.
Recording.
That was almost in time.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Come on in.
Hey.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my goodness. How are you?
I'm all right. I saw that look on your face when you're, hey.
Hey, love you. Y'all, we always have a little pre-show conversation. Sometimes we talk about what we're going to talk about, but today we just talked. So y'all are going to get catch can, because it is 2 days before the winter solstice and 6 days before Christmas,
I guess.
something like that. I'm trying to count up on my fingers and toes. So we're both busy as a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest,
Or a one-arm paper hanger.
or busy as bees. I'm busy as a bee. I'm busy. What other busy things are there?
Well, women in general.
Well, I'm just thinking busy as a woman. You know, that's absolutely true. I'm busy as a woman.
That's right.
Oh my
Hey,
God, you are busy, aren't you?
Did
Ooh.
did you hear Miley Cyrus do her little version of Santa Baby?
No. Oh, I hate that song so much.
She did a feminist version of it. I think it was Santa Baby. Let me find out for sure. I'm always
Good
giving
for her.
false statements, but it was great. My Fallon. Yeah, Santa Baby.
Oh, was she on Fallon's show?
Yes, Jimmy Fallon, evidently, and it says the feminist version of Santa Baby. Miley Cyrus singing an updated and feminist version of Santa Baby. I thought it was great.
Was it good?
Yeah, I thought it was great. She's got an interesting voice for a young person. She has kind of an older person's voice. And
She does, doesn't she?
yeah, a little bit. And
I wonder how old she is now.
she's in her 20s still, I'm sure.
I guess, I can't keep up. I keep thinking they're, 16 and I mean, like Tanya Tucker. Remember, she was this just phenomenon because she was young and beautiful. And
Yeah.
I keep thinking of Tanya Tucker still being 16 years old. And God, she's probably in her late 40s.
Oh, man. Probably.
Maybe older.
Well, I watched this Willie Nelson birthday special. I had recorded it and I went ahead and watched it. I guess it was night before last that I watched it. And at one point, Roseanne Cash, I think it was, Roseanne Cash got up and she did a duet with this person that I thought was Kenny Rogers. Not realizing that Kenny Rogers had already died a couple of years ago. And it was actually Chris Christopherson. But I called my mom and I was talking to her about it. And I was like, my God, Mom, Kenny Rogers looked awful. He's had way too much surgery on his face. It doesn't even look like him. Because it wasn't him, donut,
Well, I imagine Kenny Rogers does look pretty bad right now.
most likely. If he looks like anything at all. But to me, they sounded alike too. But this Chris Christopherson, my point in telling you, he was so old that he'd obviously done this song before, but he was having to kind of be reminded. It was like he was really badly gone in dementia or something, because they kind of brought him up there to the stage and she hung on to him and she kept looking at him in the eyes and like she was encouraging him to sing, and he would sort of sing and hit the lyrics a little bit, but mostly she sang the song. Yeah. And I thought, these people really, because it was going back and it was showing video of them in prior years in kind of their heyday. And so one of them was the who's the guy with the Rolling Stones that the joke is how old he is. So it's
Keith Richardson.
Keith Richards. Yeah, he was there and he did some stuff, and I had to realize, well, Keith Richards is younger, much younger than Willie Nelson. Not much. He's 10 years younger. 10 years younger than Willie. But he's 80 years old, and all of them are getting a little long in the tooth. Sheryl Crow came out and she was talking about how 27 years earlier she had got to do her first be on stage with so-and-so for the first time. And I thought, well, it doesn't even seem like she's been on the scene 27 years.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
She still feels new.
She does. She does. And, I thought it was a really good show. They had that Miranda Lambert came out in an Elvis one piece with
oh my goodness,
the fringe hanging down like that in her arms. It was great. That part was
She's
great.
Good. I like Miranda Lambert.
I do too. And I guess Selby and I are working on a duet. When you're playing, he and I would give the rest of the band a little bathroom break, and we did it with a couple of duets and stuff. And so we're working on one called Ghost that she has done. That'll be interesting because I think I mostly do that one. So anyway,
Oh,
I saw this
good.
guy, Chris Stapleton for the first time. I've heard his name before, but I'd never really listened to him. He has a real strong voice,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. People seem to not like him for whatever reason, but I thought he did
Oh
fine.
no. Did he get on somebody's bad side? Did they have to cancel him?
Evidently, I'm sure. And Jamie Johnson was on it, and Warren was on it, and Booker was on it, and a lot of the ones that I just really like. It was a good show.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds good. I bet I can find it online somewhere.
I'll bet you can. So what you been listening to?
Nothing.
No.
I mean, I've had a musician as a house guest since Saturday.
Right.
So, I mean, and she didn't play much around here because when she was here she was resting, but she played her name instead of saying her name is S.J. Tucker, and her friends call her Suge, and she is from Arkansas, and she is one of the hottest tickets on the pagan music circuit.
Wow.
And she was at Raven and Crone Sunday. She played a standing room only crowd at Raven and Crone. Great, great concert. And then she was with us last night at Mother Grove's Solstice Ritual, and she played 3 different songs during the course of that. So I've been indulging in my fangirling of Suge while she was here. And then I don't listen to popular Christmas music when it comes up on Twitter or somewhere. Oh, and of these 5, which is your favorite Christmas music? And I go, Handel's Messiah, Angels We Have Heard on High, The Holly and the Ivy. Yeah, I just don't listen to popular Christmas music. I don't, because I don't like it.
Well, you have nothing
I
to
mean,
apologize
Santa Baby's not terribly recent, but from that moment forward in the genre, I was just like, no, no, thank you, no,
Well,
thank you very much.
Christmas has got some creepy ass music, if you ask me.
Oh God, it does. Our caroling. We went out caroling last Thursday in our neighborhood, and it was fun. We had a lovely time. There wasn't a big group of us, but we wandered around in the cold, which compared to today was not cold.
Yeah.
And we sang, and one of our neighbors he's a part-time neighbor. He really lives on a farm in Georgia. He had a bottle of peppermint Smirnoffs in his pocket, in his inside jacket pocket, and some of those little tiny plastic cups. And then 2 other of our neighbors showed up with a thermos full of hot chocolate and a bottle of peppermint schnapps and a bag full of homemade cookies. So, I mean, we were on it. But we were talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Yeah.
which is, everybody knows that song and the animation cartoon and all that stuff. But what we get from that song is that people are going to mock you and be crappy to you until you can do something for them, and then all the reindeer loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of message is that to give to children? You just make yourself available, and you do stuff for them, and they'll like you. Maybe,
Do what you're
I don't know.
supposed
It's
to do.
kind of awful.
Don't stand out.
Yes, don't be unusual, because you won't fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that.
Well, the whole Christmas thing, the message is confusing to kids.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about last time, or I think it is, but I mean, we get real focused on, as if I was still a kid. Kids get real focused on the presents.
Uh-huh.
That's real easy to do, especially with the grown-ups kind of letting it happen.
Yes, making it happen.
I think that maybe it's a good distraction or something, but right off the bat, if you're a kid, you're going to get confused. So
I guess, and I am not at all a cheerleader for Christianity, as you know, but there was something about, if you grew up in a Christian household, there would be other things about Christmas that you would be focused on. You might be in the nativity scene at church, or they might have a Christmas cantata. And if you were in the children's choir, you would have to be going to rehearsals. So there were other things. Our good friend Shirley, for years and years, she lived in Alexandria, Virginia, and her church did this big Christmas play, and she either wrote the play or she wrote and directed the play. And that, that kept her going from October on.
At
And
least,
so if you were
yeah.
involved in stuff like that, it might be less about the gimmies and more about, okay, we're going to celebrate the birth of Jesus, and we're going to do that by this series of events that are going to happen. So it might be different. I don't know. I mean,
Oh,
I wasn't
I'm
really
sure,
raised
yeah.
Christian, but I
I'm
don't know.
sure it's different with all of them. And, I remember going to school at Emmanuel Lutheran. And of course, Christmas there was, they had the living nativity scene.
Oh, yes. Were you in it? Yeah. Who did you play?
Can't remember, probably one of the shepherds or some kid or whatever. Who
I
knows?
was the innkeeper's wife.
The innkeeper's wife.
Yes. I stood behind the innkeeper and I yawned. That was my big role. I wanted to be the angel, and I mean, it'd been nice to be Mary, but I wasn't cute enough to be Mary.
It didn't even occur to me any of that. I thought that was interesting, and everybody, there'd be like a frenzy of activity getting ready
Yeah.
for it, and then people would drive, and they'd slowly drive by, and they'd see
Yes.
their kid out there, and they'd wave at them, and it'd be -20 outside.
Right. It was always cold. And you had on your mama's or your daddy's long underwear under your
Something
robe,
like that.
under
Yes.
your bathrobe.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, that's another thing. Back in the day, a lot of times in school, right before Christmas time, I mean, around here, is that you would be making some kind of gift for your mama and gift for your daddy, or you'd make ornaments for the tree or whatever. And so you were focused on that too.
Yeah.
But this focus on the gimmies, I just don't think that's healthy for anybody, adults or children.
But that's what I saw in West Asheville with my cronies over in Malvern Hills there. They would sit around and, compare their notes from the Sears catalog to each other, about that. And that was really the extent of it. We didn't do anything unless the grown-ups told us to help with some sort of ornament making or something. And now all of us would do some of that, make string popcorn or do whatever.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, stringing popcorn is something people would do, and then they'd put it on the Christmas tree as ornament, as tinsel.
Yeah. And cranberries. We did cranberries too.
We weren't sophisticated enough.
Cranberries were expensive, so we would do a thing that was like cranberries and popcorn together. But then the cranberries would bleed onto the popcorn, and it'd either get really weird, bloody looking, or it would get too soft and it would fall off the string.
We would get that construction paper and cut those chains and do those linked chains. And the longer we could do that, the better. And we could do that now.
I'm going to show you this right here at my elbow, which is a whole bunch of cut up pieces of paper, because every year we go down to Joe's sister's for Thanksgiving, and he and the little girls, which are our great nieces, they do a giant paper chain. And this year it stretched all the way to the street, down the driveway, all the way to the street. They were so proud of themselves. Oh my goodness.
Wow. What do they do with it afterwards?
It goes on their tree at home, the children's tree at home, and it fit perfectly.
That's pretty interesting. Well, I don't know what ever happened to ours. I don't remember, but it was always a good time of year. And it seemed like, because we knew we were going to have some time out of school.
Yes.
It made it a real important time. So, and I knew that I would see all my family, and that was a big deal. That was a big deal to me. So yeah, my kid year kind of revolved around it, but there wasn't that much religion there. I would think about the religious subjects, and then I would just kind of think about them. You know, they'd show up from time to time in one of those Christmas specials, one of those claymation specials, like Little Drummer Boy. Do you remember that one?
Oh golly. And what another terrible Christmas song. Like
The-
who the hell wants you to come and drum for a baby, a newborn baby, or the mama who might in fact have a splitting headache at this point? It's like what?
Most likely,
Who
yeah.
thought of that?
I don't know. Yeah. And all those claymation Jesuses always looked like some version of Glenn Campbell. Have you ever noticed that? In those claymation shows?
Well, I mean, Glenn Campbell was no angel, but he certainly played and sang like an angel, didn't he?
He did. Well, do you remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that claymation one, where
With
Santa was, yeah, being hunted by the whoever, you know, that whole series of them.
and who is it? Bert Ives? No, what is his Ives?
Burl
Burl
Ives.
Ives as the snowman.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I love those. I have to see those every year. That's the thing that I have to see every year. And I like to see one new old Christmas thing every year if I can.
A new old one, like you've never seen it, but it's been there.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Like
them.
what is that sweet old one? Is it Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah,
Something like that. That's a sweet one.
I've seen that one, and it is a sweet one. But I didn't see a lot of the ones from the 70s, and there was a whole bunch of them, plethora of them. Everybody had a Christmas special.
Yeah.
I've recently watched the Saturday Night Live Christmas special, and it was just,
Which one?
I don't know.
Who was in it?
It had clip after clip after clip. It was vintage.
Oh,
it was
got it.
hilarious.
Got it. I bet.
So so they had all those years of that group, that Christmas group going do 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 do, and not even making any faces at all. And it was Jimmy Fallon, and I can't remember, but it was hilarious. Saturday Night Live, people are geniuses. I wish every show was as smart and interesting as the SNL skits are.
As the best of the SNL
Well,
skits
the
are.
best, yes.
I mean, some are pretty off.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite Christmas television show?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that they're Christmas shows because I love Child's Christmas in Wales. That's a BBC thing, I think. And there's one, The Dead, which doesn't sound like it would be Christmassy, but it is. It's very good. John Huston directed that. Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite. I tend to like them all. I don't like Hallmark Fall in Love at the Holidays movies.
Yeah.
I don't like those. They bore me.
I'm looking up John Huston right now with The Dead. I don't know that I've ever seen any of the Hallmark.
And it's old, and it's got Angelica in it.
Oh.
And it's set in Victorian era or Edwardian era Ireland. And it's just beautiful.
Looks like it. The Dead is a 1987 drama directed by John Huston, written by his son, Tony Huston, and starring his daughter, Angelica Huston.
Yeah. It's really good.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I might have to watch that.
You should watch it. I'm trying to think. There's a really famous Irish actor. So keep talking. I'm gonna go get the video.
Okay. First published. It's an adaptation of the short story of the same name by James Joyce, who I think most of us have heard of James Joyce, which was first published in 1914 as the last story in The Dubliners, an international co-production between the United Kingdom, the United States, and West Germany. The film was
Yeah,
Houston.
it's really good.
Let's see,
Th-
Donald McCann.
yes, that I couldn't remember his name. Donald McCann. He was, I think he's dead now. He was the quintessential elegant but passionate Irish actor.
Oh wow,
I just love him. And I'm a huge fan of James Joyce.
I
And
like
this is
James
some of
Joyce.
the most this is the most some of the most accessible James Joyce because it's a short story for one thing, so it doesn't do some of what we expect from Joyce, which is all that talking, all that talking. Oh,
Oh
it's so good though, so good.
well, I'm a huge fan of Angelica Houston.
Me too.
I just think,
Wonderful actor.
yeah, she's very underrated, very underrated. So yeah, very underrated. Well, cool. Now I've got something I'm going to watch. Thank you.
It's
Because
good.
most
Um,
of the stuff that I watch, yeah, I don't necessarily go for quality. I go for something I haven't seen yet. Most of
mhm.
a lot of it is just crap. There is a lot of crap when it comes to Christmas uh movies and stuff. Just really,
Well, did you see the Hallmark movie that they just filmed at the Biltmore?
no.
Because some of my friends who live around here and actors were in it, and from the from the family of the actors who were in it, I heard, "Oh, it's so wonderful, it's so wonderful," but everybody else was like, "Oh my God, it was such crap." But I mean, it's the same stupid formula. I think this had time travel in it too, because that's a hot thing. But I don't know. I mean, love stories at Christmas, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I'm all about ghosts and ancestors at Christmas.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Christmas story is the Dickens one. And
Oh
that
yeah,
love
Christmas
it.
Carol,
Christmas Carol.
where the ghosts come to straighten you out. Wonder if we could send some ghosts over to the Congress.
Would it do any good?
No,
I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
Unless
I
they,
wish it would, but I don't think it will.
I don't think it would do any good either. I'm not sure what. I think we're also busy being stupid that there's. I think we've gone too far. I think there's no
All
turning
gone
back
too.
now.
It's all gone too far, far too far.
Far too far. I know if my grandfather had been alive to see this, he would be so shocked. He would, of course, I know a lot of people say that about their relatives too.
Well, I can remember thinking when that crap went down on January the 6th, and there were Nazi flags inside the halls of Congress, that one of my first thoughts was, I'm glad my father did not live to see this.
I thought about my dead relatives too.
Yeah.
Sure did. I was there in the dining room at the little house,
Uh-huh.
and I had just gotten that tiny little flat TV to have there, and I saw it that day, and I couldn't get up. I just kept watching it, and I was shocked. I was
Well,
shocked.
for me, it was the same kind of shock that I had at 9/11, where I just sat there looking at the TV going, oh, surely this is not what it looks like it is. And then they hit the second tower, and I don't know what I was, appalled, horrified, all those things.
In denial for me a little bit
Yeah,
for both of the
yeah,
events, and I saw the January 6th thing, and at the time they weren't calling it an insurrection yet. They weren't calling it anything. They were just reporting on what was happening,
yeah.
because as it was happening. And so they hadn't really given anything a title yet. But I remember thinking privately, I remember thinking, well, now wait a minute. If I saw this happening in another country, what would I call it?
Right. You'd call it a coup.
And yeah, that was the word that came in my mind. And I remember, when I realized that, I got still. I was just like, holy shit.
Exactly. Holy shit. What's going on?
Everything changes again. And I was right. I hate
Well,
that.
and it's one of those situations. Listen to us. We started talking about Christmas, and now
Oh,
we just gone on to
the
politics.
holiday episode.
The thing that now I don't even know what it does to me, but when I hear people talk about, oh, but it wasn't like that at all, I think we watched it. We watched it on TV. We saw how it was. We saw them breaking the glass with the bollards that held up the rope to guide people. And we saw that. We saw it.
Yeah.
We saw the man with his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. We saw it. We saw pictures of it. And now they're saying, well, no, that didn't really happen. Well, I mean, they could have doctored it because God knows with AI now anything is possible, but they didn't. They didn't doctor it. Well, you know, those people did that.
They've admitted to it.
And a few of them have actually gone to jail, but none of the people that organized it have. And I don't think they ever will.
I don't know. Well, you know, Giuliani is convinced that there's going to be another government in place here any day now, because when he got his fine, and it was $100 million more than what the two women had asked for. And he went out and immediately did the same thing again, which now there's another lawsuit against him by those women.
I heard that this morning where they're like, listen, buddy, if you're going to keep saying it, we're just going to keep taking you to court.
Yeah. And he even said to him, he said, well, you know, if there was a fair process, a fair jury in place, and they're just convinced that at any minute now, this whole new government is going to be up and going. You know the shadow government that's going on now that is really running the country, but they're in the shadows for whatever reason. These folks are really convinced that that's going to come around and it's going to fix everything. They're not going to have to worry about being arrested or any of that. That's right.
When the Savior comes, we're all going to be saved.
That's right.
That's horrifying. It's all horrifying.
It is. And you know, when Santa Claus comes down my chimney, I'm going to have every toy I ever wanted.
And a pony.
I
said that last night in the solstice ritual. It sounded like I was being very serious, and I was, about wishing everyone good health and prosperity, peace, and what everybody really wants, which is a pony.
Well, I wanted to come, and then I looked up and the time was so close, and I thought, every time I get ready to go to something that's going to have a crowd, at the last minute, I talk myself out of it.
No, that's wise, because you're still dealing with so much left over from COVID. That makes perfect sense. But I mean, we had people there from Texas.
Wow.
From Georgia, 2 different batches from Tennessee, downstate North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all over the place.
It was a good ritual, I'll bet you.
It was a good evening. Yeah. We did lots of fun stuff. We danced and we had music and we sang and we went outside and wassailed that big old sycamore in the front of the parish hall. We did it all. Nice. It's good.
Very nice. Well, you know, I hope people listening to this are, you know, maybe they're listening and it's December 24th, Sunday. And if that's
right.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Merry Christmas Eve, y'all.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. You don't.
And I'm going to be doing, while listening to this, I will be eating the traditional Italian Christmas Eve supper, which is the Feast of 7 Fishes. And we will eat 7 different kinds of seafood.
Yes, I've done that.
That's going to be fun.
Our buddy
it's yummy. It's a yummy thing.
It is the best. And I'll be on the road again. I'll be traveling down to Tennessee to my Tennessee
place. Also Tennessee.
He's
Well,
going with you.
I hope the road is good to you.
Oh,
Sometimes that
okay.
road ain't good.
Well, I take the back way. I don't go on the interstate. I take the back way. I get there the same time as everybody else.
What back way do you take?
Back, you go back through Weaver, Vegas there, and then you shoot. I don't remember.
You go up 1923.
I guess that would be it. It never once gets into an interstate situation until you get till right before you get to the town. And I really like going that route. It really is.
Yeah, that's how we go to our daughters, is that I'm on future 26 until right after Mars Hill, and then I get on 1923 and go on from there.
1923 used to be where it was at.
It still is, as far as I'm concerned.
Let's see. I'll tell you the exact name of the road. But yeah, so we're gonna let my little nephew host Christmas this year in his new.
Your little nephew, Kyle.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it myself. Let's see. It is. Yeah, because I'm going to Newport, Tennessee, because that's where his home is. So I go that back road. Yeah, it just is not going to be any problem. It's 42 miles as the crow flies. Yeah, and it's the difference between the route that I take, and the route that is recommended that has 40 on it and all of that is 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So to me, the lack of stress is worth it. Because instead of having to see all these other cars and all this construction and all these billboards and stuff, what I see is a river most of the trip. And that's it. So yay for that. And maybe I'll see Santa Claus. You never know. I could see Santa.
You sure could. I hope it brings you. What do you want Santa to bring you?
I organizational skills.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good.
Yeah. I don't need any candy. I don't really need him to give me any money or anything, but I wouldn't mind some more organizational skills or a better short-term memory. How about you?
Well, I always want a pony.
A pony?
I mean, I used to have a pony, but I don't anymore. What do I want for Christmas? I don't know. I don't need a darn thing. I want some time off. I want to be able to sleep deeply and long and rest my body.
Yeah.
We were coming in. I was coming in last night and had to pull my car real far back because I had a house guest and I wanted them to be able to park in the back too. Because we've had a rash in our neighborhood of people breaking into cars, but I didn't think they would if the car was in the back, and they didn't. So I mean, yeah. Anyway, so I was parked in an unfamiliar place, and I got out of the car and got my purse and locked the car, and somehow I don't know if I tripped on something or if it was slick or whatever, but I fell, and I fell between the car and the stone wall where I have my perennials.
Yeah.
And I just laid there for a few seconds, and the wind was not blowing through me, and it was so pleasant. I just laid there going, oh, this is so nice. The car blocks it from one side, the garden blocks it from the other. I did finally get up, but yeah, it was kind of pleasant to be out of the wind. Because I mean, that sucker last night was awful.
It was a whipper wind, that's for sure. That's for sure.
And I had a bunch of clothes on. It's not like I skimped around and was wearing some floofy little cotton festival dress. I had on serious clothes, but it was windy.
It was, I always, no matter where I'm at, usually anyway, before I go to sleep, for whatever reason, I want to go walk outside for a second. I always do. Even if it's cold, I'll just walk outside, look around, take a couple breaths, and then I go back inside and lock the door and go to bed. And last night it was ridiculously cold.
Yeah.
I went in really fast, and then while I was getting ready to go to sleep, I thought about turning on the TV for the weather because it was, it's time for the weather. And I didn't. Instead, I just left everything quiet and I listened to that wind. And
Yeah.
and I go and look, and there was a street light there, and we had snow going sideways.
Yep.
I haven't seen that for a while. We had thunder snow the day before that.
Yes, we did.
So I don't know.
And I don't know why I'm smiling about that. That's not a good omen.
It's
But yeah, but by God, we
gonna
did.
happen. That's for sure. You
Well,
can bet.
last night when we were offloading out of our cars to go do the ritual, it was snowing and windy, but it wasn't yet 20 degrees. So it was just, ooh, burr, let's get in, burr, burr, burr. But yeah, leaving last night, it was very, very sharp.
Mhm. Well,
So laying on the ground felt good because the wind couldn't get to me. Ah.
I can just, what a picture you drew right there, though.
Because I just slipped, so I didn't, and I'm short, so I didn't get hurt. I didn't even get bruised. It was just like, the earth, I'm on it now. Yay. I love you, earth.
Grounding for real. This is how you ground, people. That's how you really do it.
Well, and also I was tired. So in addition to being cold and windy and all that, I was tired. It was just like, I'm lying down now. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm
It
glad
ain't nothing.
you didn't get hurt.
Thank you. So at this point in the holiday season, I don't know that I can feel anything from about the nose down. I'm tired. I need to get some real sleep. And here's the thing, I'm tired of saying I'm tired. I
Yeah.
need to get some rest and not be tired.
I had my second good night's rest in a number of weeks, because I had been going back down into flare land again, slowly. And then a couple of things happened, and I took a couple of things, and now I'm back, not there in flare land. That's good.
Merry Christmas.
Well, do y'all have any Christmas tree rituals, like the day before Christmas you bring in the tree, or do you keep your tree up for a long time, or?
Well, we don't actually celebrate Christmas. So for us, it's all about solstice.
Solstice.
And we put up our tree, and we have a little artificial tree because we're not home really. And that got decorated when I had time to decorate it. So it's decorated now. I wanted to decorate it in time for that party last week. And then it'll come down on January the 1st. That's the superstition in my family, that has to come down on the 1st.
Okay. Everybody's family has got their own pretty strict rules about the tree. Have you noticed?
And some, like high church and Catholic and Episcopal families, don't take the tree down until Epiphany. But yeah, how about you?
All those rules kind of went out the window a few years ago. And Cat Dog has pretty much sent the rest of them away, because he's not the kind of cat that we can have a tree around.
No.
He will demolish it. I'm telling you, he's like he's his own wrecking company. If I do something and it's gone.
If I can find it, I will forward to you a video I saw today of people who thought they were going to be clever, and they tied their tree from the ceiling, and the cat just kept climbing and climbing until it could get to it and launched itself onto this hanging Christmas tree. It was just amazing to watch.
Yeah, if you bring something like that in to around Cat Dog, and it's a new element that hasn't been introduced to yet, that he would go insane. So our Christmas rituals have been greatly altered until he calms down some.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to have some things, but no more. This cat's
Well,
too much.
what were the things?
Well, about the tree,
Yeah.
my tree, I was a snob. Oh, I wanted a real tree. That
Uh-huh.
was one thing. I always wanted a real tree. And if we could replant it, that would be better. And I wanted a tree that was big and fat like my body. They say you want a tree like your body. So I wanted
Oh,
a big fat tree that would take up the whole room if possible. And there weren't rules about it as far as I was concerned, but there were things that I liked about Christmas every year. I liked my ornaments. I liked the things that I had on it. You know, it's my stuff. I like that stuff. How about us?
yeah. Me too. And we've got so much stuff that because we used to do a big tree and now we do a little tree. So there's tubs of stuff that we don't use every year. But I'm fussy about the order that things go on.
Oh,
So first the lights have to go on.
mhm.
And you need to put the lights on while they're plugged in so you can see how they look.
Yeah.
Then after that, the garland goes on
Mhm.
because I don't want to knock down my hand blown German glass ornaments because I'm whacking around plastic beads.
Yeah.
Then after that, the ornaments can go on.
Yeah.
And then the very last thing that goes on are the icicles.
And
And
you'll do icicles then?
I do. And I overheard, or I don't know, conversation somewhere in social media about people saying, what the hell are icicles for? I just can't figure it out. Why would anybody put that on their tree? And I wanted to take time to explain to them that back in the day, because trees are not, we haven't been doing that hundreds and hundreds of years in this country, or certainly in Appalachia, that trees used to have little clips in which you put a candle and you set all the candles alight and it was a living fire on the tree and everything was moving.
Yep.
Well, then we got electric lights for the tree, and icicles were to give us the illusion of living fire on the tree. And that's why we have them. So, because they're always in motion. And they used to be, you know, the first icicles that we got in this country for sure, and I guess everywhere, were made of lead. They were tiny, they were thin strips of lead.
I didn't
And
realize.
they hung very kind of heavily on the tree
Guess so.
and looked like ice on the tree. But of course, we haven't seen those in a long time because I mean they're lead.
Yeah.
You couldn't put those on and then not go wash your hands or lick your fingers or something.
Well, the tree was pretty toxic. Most of the ornaments were mercury vapor ornaments.
Exactly.
The glass,
Exactly.
tiny little glass, and if it shattered, it would explode, and then the puff of mercury that would come
And
out.
I remember your story about that,
Yeah.
about the tree falling over and everything just exploded.
Oh yeah. Pop, 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 pop. It sounded like artillery.
Horrifying.
That's why I was so scared, because I thought, see, I was deep in a relaxation hypnosis entrainment, and I was deep in it, and hearing that, it was like trying to swim up to the surface, and you being 20 feet down. You know, I was
Yeah.
trying to get
Yeah.
to the surface, and I could hear these pop, 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 and it was like artillery. I thought that we were being bombed by someone. And boy,
How
I was scared.
terrifying.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was hilarious, but it was awful. It was.
Of course. Well, of course, yeah.
Lost so many.
The other thing I put on my tree are gold balls to symbolize the return of the sun.
Okay.
And I also put apples on the tree. I mean, these are little paper mache apples, but to talk about now, it's the beginning of the agricultural year again. So I have lots of symbolic stuff and then a bunch of, you know, stuff from friends and stuff that our daughter made. We have a bunch of skeletons and devils on the tree. We started doing that with my nephew, who is now in his 40s. When he was little, somehow a leftover one of those little plastic figurines that was a devil got left over from Halloween, I guess. And we put a and we were helping my mother do her tree, and we wrapped one of the wire hangers around the little devil's neck and hung it on the tree. And we told our nephew it was the Christmas devil, and he got so mad. He said, "Get that off the tree! That's not Christmas! Get it off the tree!" We're like, "No, it's very important. It's the Christmas devil." So we have a Christmas devil on our tree.
That's less scary than those damn elf on a shelf things. Those are
Ooh.
terrifying.
I have a bunch of elves and gnomes and trolls too. All the little people are here.
They are well represented. I know. Your house
Absolutely.
is cool at Christmas. Your house is
Oh,
cool. At
our
period,
house,
independence, but-
Halloween and Christmas, those are our two big ones.
Yeah.
And
Well-
we set up we've got one of those old manger scenes. It's like a barn that has you can put a light through from
Oh,
from the outside.
Yeah.
So it's the star, and there's an angel on top and all that. And we have got like a blue million little tiny plastic things, like from Happy Meals and stuff like that are all around. So there's a fire truck, and there's Hagrid from Harry Potter, and I think
Hagrid
there's a
from Harry
Buddha
Potter.
up there. Yeah, and a penguin and Barbie, Lisa Simpson. Yeah, it's pretty crazy looking.
I love
But
it.
I used to do that when I was a kid, is that I was the one who got to set up the nativity scene, and I always wonder whatever happened to those pieces, but they were Italian plaster. It was an Italian plaster set. And I don't remember if my dad brought it back from the war or what, but every year I would get mad about something having to do with Christmas, and I would be the one doing the manger, the nativity scene. And I'd end up putting fire trucks and cowboys and all kinds of stuff. I've been doing that since I was probably a nasty little teenager, probably 14 or 15.
We didn't have
So I love seeing it. Still got them. Dragons. There's some dragons in there.
That's so cool.
There's a little bitty car that has a Minnie Mouse in it. Oh, it has Mickey and Minnie.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's
Very
crazy.
nice. Well, I don't have anything cool like that in my house about Christmas that I know of, although I've got an old Victorian ornament that is a moon. And it's
Oh,
this moon with a face in it and all of
that
that.
sounds wonderful.
That I like, yeah. And I've got an old or two old hand painted light bulbs. And they're
Oh, nice.
giant light bulbs. And I can't remember what they're painted, like shepherds or something like that. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I ended up with a lot of Christmas stuff because I rescued a lot of it at yard sales.
Yeah, me too.
Somebody would be cleaning out grandma's house and they'd have boxes of shiny brights and they just want to get
Yes.
rid of it.
Oh my God, I love shiny brights.
Me too.
I'm looking right now. It's shiny brights on this tree.
Yeah. And I would just, I wouldn't like the thought of, well, they're just gonna throw these away if somebody doesn't take them.
Well, and
I'd take
you get them for like 50 cents for a box of beautiful hand-blown glass ornaments,
You used
just
to.
because they're out of style.
You used to, not anymore.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I've not seen ornaments like at a thrift shop. I haven't seen those kind of ornaments in years. It's true.
If you want to find them at a yard sale or thrift store, the Seventh-day Adventists have the best one. And whenever the Seventh-day Adventists have a sale, because they do that periodically up near my house, I will try and go. And I'll holler at you next time when I know.
Okay. Yeah, do. I'd love that.
Yeah, and they have, you can tell that they've got, their congregation is getting older and they're just, downsizing some of their stuff. And I have to tell you, the best stuff I ever got was my grandma called me and some folks who had lots of lights in their yard and stuff for years. They were getting older and retiring and let it be known that they were going to sell all their Christmas stuff.
Wow.
And I had a little money for my birthday saved up. And I went there and they had these big wooden cutout things It wasn't really a manger scene. It was some people singing, like an angel singing, and some carolers, and then there was a Santa in a sleigh, and these were full-size wooden cutouts, painted
Wow.
perfect. And I later found the patterns for them on eBay, and just because I wanted to have them, and they still had the correct number of paint. They had the paint numbers for it and everything. And they were from 1936.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
still have them in my front yard when I get to have
Oh,
stuff in my front yard now. And yeah, that was the best thing I ever did. And they just wanted somebody who was going to take care of them, of the stuff that they did. And they had cut that stuff by hand, built it by hand and all of that. And I bought as much as I spent every penny I had that day and on their Christmas ornaments, and I will never regret it. Just
no.
makes me happy to think that I'm keeping it going. Because
And
they,
that's almost 100 years old.
yeah.
Isn't that weird to think? Almost 100 years old.
Yeah. Well, your house is 100 years old coming up in the
More.
next year or so.
More. Well, the house I'm in right now is more than 100 years
Is
old.
it? Is it?
And it's like 125 years old.
Yeah. This place is
Yeah.
50 years old.
It's crazy. I've
Yeah.
got some friends in from Texas, and I keep saying, just come home, come on back. And they, they can't because they can't afford to live here now.
It's this place. It's always had a lot of conflict when it comes to people living here. There have been people who wanted to live here that were not welcome here for a number of years.
Yep.
It was really out in the open about it. Remember, Peter Graves did that book Walk Across America in 1976, and he talked about how welcome he was all over the country except for up in Western North Carolina. And they made it clear that he wasn't welcome. He wasn't welcome here. And so it seems like there's always been controversy around the subject, because
you're
get
totally
here,
right.
they say, look what we've got. Well, we don't want to share this. And and of course, then you get to 2023, and the thought that I have is, how irresponsible would it be to let it continue to be overdeveloped and overused? It's not a matter of I don't want to share. It's a matter of I'd like for it to continue. I'd like for us to continue to have beautiful mountains and the diversity of plants and not animals too. Not to mention, oh, hey, it's a really happy.
I know. y'all, we're going to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah.
In January, it's going to be way shinier.
Well,
but I want to say this to our friends that are listening too, is that we get it. We get that 2023 has been challenging for an awful lot of people. It's been hard. It's been heartbreaking, but we've stuck together all through it. And I got faith that we're going to make it even beyond.
I think so too. So maybe I should go back and cut out all the depressing stuff we said.
No, I think it's being authentic.
Oh, well.
Because for a lot of people, you're looking back over the year and going, God, this was the year that XYZ happened. These are the people that died this year. These are the babies that were born this year. All of that.
That's true. If you go back, if I say, think about Christmas past and the ones that you might have had a good memory of, what would that be?
I don't have a lot of good memories about Christmas.
Not.
I guess it was always fun. Well, not always fun, but I always liked going up on the mountain and cutting a tree. But it was always too big. I couldn't eyeball it right. It was always too big, and then my dad would get mad. And yeah, I mean, I just don't have. We'd go over to my grandmother's, and that was nice, and we ate chocolate covered cherries. But yeah, there was always too much alcohol, too much fighting, too much all of that. So
Yeah.
so that's why I invent Christmas the way I want it to be, because when I was growing up, it was never ever good.
Christmas for you now is magic. It's magic.
Absolutely, it is, because I
Yeah,
don't
it's
celebrate
really
Christmas. I
it's
celebrate solstice.
Yeah. Well, holiday.
Yeah,
Holiday.
yeah. So now it's exactly what I need and what I want.
Yeah. I wish,
But yeah,
people have these big expectations about Christmas. And I did too, because I had big Christmases when I was a kid. I was
yeah.
old rotten. And hey, I can admit it. I was the only girl on both sides and first kid on both sides and all that. And I just assumed that everything revolved around me. And at Christmas,
As it does.
I guess, but at Christmas, I think they really tried to make that happen, and that
Aw.
gave me some magical Christmas. And what it also did is set me up to have a really unrealistic expectation of Christmas. Okay.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
interesting.
think about it. If you start out with these magical Christmases, and then at some point your Christmas toned itself down to be just wonderful and maybe not magical, but wonderful or something, then, think about it. And so at first, when I was a young adult, I was, pretty disappointed because I didn't have any money to give anybody else one of those big Christmases. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really have anybody to give that to. So I was, I was a little disappointed. And then I can't remember what it was. Something happened and whatever it was, I just said, well, I don't really care if that's not the important thing to me. And I kind of had a Christmas reset. And it's been a lot easier since then. My Christmas,
Yeah.
I don't have an expectation now. And I'm always glad that that's the way it is, because I have some Christmases that are bigger than others. Some Christmases have a lot of people in them. Some Christmases don't. I don't really have any big traditions anymore, but they all manage to be good in their own way.
Oh, that's good. That's really beautiful.
That's the way it is for you too, right?
No, Christmas is always, since I've been an adult and since I've had my own home, it's always been a really pretty special time. And not big. I mean, we don't do big Christmases, but yeah, we do good Christmas. We do it good.
Yeah.
Plus, I get to bake and give people cakes, and I love doing that. Make candy and all that stuff that I don't do all year long.
Yeah,
That's a lot of fun too.
that's the thing. I get to listen to Christmas music, which I love Christmas music.
Me too. Me too.
I do. And I had it on.
I love to sing Christmas music.
Me too.
Me too.
And
Next year, me and you, Weird Mountain Gals, we're going to go caroling somewhere.
let's do
And
it.
we'll nab us a couple of other people and we'll just figure out how we're going to go caroling and we'll do it.
I will. Now, I will.
It'll be fun. I know you will.
We'll get Sylvie to come accompany us.
Oh, that'd be great. Even if he just came and sang with us, that'd be good.
I doubt we could get him. He's like the rest of those musicians. He doesn't like Christmas music. And it just tears me up.
Huh.
It does. It tears me up. Well, I mean, he doesn't express a hate for it or anything, but he just never really chooses it. And I do.
Yeah.
I've actually got it on the radio stations here and all of that. I listen to Christmas music. I like it.
Me too. I've got a whole bunch of Christmas CDs that I've got out that I'm listening to.
Do you ever listen to any of that really disrespectful, funny Christmas stuff?
Like Grandma got run over by a reindeer, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
a
sometimes.
station out there called Christmas in Frisco.
I'll have to look that one up.
And it's under the Soma FM stations. And
Okay.
it's a station. And Christmas, now it's an adult Christmas music station. So yeah, just fair warning. Some of the content is explicit.
No, do you think it would shock me? Oh no,
No, it
not
won't
that.
shock you. Maybe some of the listeners though. So I'm going to get to see my living relatives, and that's good.
I love that.
Yep. I already see my dead ones, so
They're around all the time, aren't they?
yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna ask you what you're gonna make for supper tonight.
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I might eat.
Well, I'm gonna
something.
tell you what I'm gonna make because I got some leftover soup. We're gonna have that, and then we're gonna have. I bought one of those rotisserie chickens, and we had that last night with our house guest, and there's more of that left over, so we're gonna have some chicken and salad.
Oh,
That's gonna be supper tonight. I might even have a big old glass of red wine.
that sounds good.
Doesn't that sound yummy?
Yes, yes. I've got groceries scheduled to go be packed into my car here in about an hour. I'd say. So I ordered.
Oh, girl, it's gonna be so cold in an hour.
Yes, but at least
Yes, it is. It's gonna be cold.
what can you say? I'll have my car warmed up, I guess. I found out that with my car, I cannot turn it on, let it idle, shut the door, and lock it. Won't let me.
Huh.
It'll literally unlock it. So I have to sit in there when it's warming up, or else I have to take a chance and
Yeah, I kind of envy those people who can click the car to start from inside the house,
Mhm.
and then they go out.
And,
Kind of, but I mean, I don't mind. I don't really mind it because I'm not somebody that has to be at work at 8 o'clock every morning during the winter, so I'm all right.
yeah.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
So next time we record, we'll be recording for the new year.
No, it's going to be
So
nerve-wracking.
this is going to come out Christmas Eve, and so that one will come out New Year's Eve. Come out on the 31st, New Year's Eve. Oh boy, so next week we're going to have to drink champagne and wear silly hats.
Auspicious. Make it
Well, Miss Alicia, it's been great talking to you. I hope at some point I'm going to get this little gift I've got for you.
well, yeah.
And you have a wonderful Christmas.
You too. And I hope
Thank
everybody
you.
out listening does too.
We want them to have the best holiday, whatever it is. Now, Hanukkah's already done, so if they're having Hanukkah, they've already had that.
They've had a crazy night.
They've had that. They have. Y'all have a wonderful time. Be with family, whether it is your chosen family or your blood family or both. And remember that there's a lot you learned this year, and there's a lot you survived this year. And 2024 is going to be new and different, and somewhat the same. All right, I'm going to go make supper. Y'all be good. All right.
Hey, thank you for spending your time with us here at Wyrd Mountain Gals. We sure do appreciate it. You know, I know time is the most important thing we have, so I promise that if you take your time to listen to us, we'll take our time to continue to be weird. Many thanks to Sunslice Records for all the help. We couldn't do it without you, Craig. Check out our social media for information, community, or a few laughs. WYRD Mountain Gals.
WYRD